When you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, folks. Back. By the way, if you want to have a good description of what's going on with the Treasury bonds, if you listen to Tommy O'Brien's segment that he did this morning, he did a great job of explaining, what was really happening with yields and stuff like that, and why people are sucked into this stuff. I thought it was really good. So I don't follow the fundamental stuff, but it was a really good explanation of what's going on. Now, here's what we were looking at earlier. We were looking for it to come in right around the time of our price, so we should be making a new high. You notice we did not make the ABCD on this. That measured up quite a bit higher, 10 points. Now, when you come into time and price together and it just made a higher high, what you want to do is check to see if this was a number of any significance. So the first thing I would do is switch from a 2-minute, go down to a 13-minute, and see what I had as far as something that might be important. And as you can see here, there's a high right here and there's a high right there. And if you just looked at that from your high to your low, guess what, folks? Right at just a little above the 382. There's where it was right there. Came in at 77. The high was 83. So miss it by 6 points. And that's what we're looking at. Okay? Very important. Now, also on the show that we were talking about when I was doing Steve Rhodes' show, I was talking about valid trend lines. You can see this is what set up these these parallel channels. Now, a valid trend line has to be drawn from previous Fibonacci lows, 61% retracement, watching the 382. So your thing would be drawn just about like this. You see. You see how that's what it's drawing right now. That is valid. Now, the reason why this is important, you see how it makes a 61% retracement here, and then if this is correct, this should be 382. So if you pull that up like this, pull it in, there it is right there. There's your it's actually 50%. There's your 50%. And remember, this only takes 20 minutes, but once it breaks that, you see what happens. That's what happens when you do a valid trend line. I'm going to be explaining these tomorrow in the show because this is how I made my first fortune in the markets. Basically what I did was, as the market was going up, I'm going to show you that tomorrow. But I just traded, a valid trend line. The problem is this was a valid trend line, right? So I looked for the next break. The next break would come in here. Oh, it must be buying it. So I would buy it, right? Because it was a valid trend line. And I didn't put a stop. And there'd be another valid trend line here and another valid trend line here and another valid trend line here. And pretty soon it's goodbye house, goodbye car, goodbye boat, goodbye wife. I lost 3 of the 4, and that was still okay. Anyway, here's where you can see what's going on down to this level right here, supposedly the rest of the day. But that was the 382 on the daily range, and that's why it stopped where it was supposed to stop, okay? That's what we're really looking at as we walk through here this morning, looking at some of these things that are occurring. All right, now let's move on to a couple things that I talked about yesterday that did not occur the way that I thought. Now, you remember, here is an NVIDIA. I really thought NVIDIA was going to close below 132, and it closed at 131.90, okay? And I expected it to gap down, and it didn't. But you see, it didn't go anywhere. The high's only been 133 today, so it hasn't really done anything. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 day, 7-day island is still there, just like this one was. And I know it's up today. It's one of the few stocks that's up. But boy, if something happens to this thing overnight, it's not going to open up here. It's going to open down here. That's my 2 cents worth. Now, there was another one that we were talking about yesterday, which has been the big mover today. At least it was earlier, and that was Google. And as you'll see here, we'll bring the Google up, and you'll be able to watch it and see where we are. There's the Google. You can see here we have the ABCD pattern right here. We're going to draw this in and put the daily chart. I've got a refresh the calendar here, folks. Just 1 second here. Okay, make sure I got it. There's what I want to see. There's what we're watching. Okay, there's the Google right here. All right. Remember, we thought we sold it here at the 70. We got stopped out at 74.50, and that was a 382. We were selling it on that 382 that was right about there. We were sold at 70. Actually, the number was 70, I believe, well, we did it on the weekly. Let's do it the right way so you can see it. There was the weekly chart right there, okay? And then, of course, it went above it. Our stop was 74.50. And what we did today is we completed the ABCD pattern right here. And that's where the stop, you can see that's where it went to today, this draw. And this is taken, actually, it's a weekly. I'm going to draw it in several ways so you can see it. I got the wrong one because it's a weekly higher high. Hold on. Got to put that higher high in or it doesn't work. That should measure to there, 74.34, and we got a high of 77, so it went a little bit higher. If we looked at it on the daily, I don't know how these data things work on this thing, but there's the same thing that we were looking at right there. There's your 50% level, and now it's below it by 5%, but there's your ABCD there on the I don't do stocks. Someone was doing it, asked me for the information. Remember that the one on Tesla's worked really well. The one on Goldman Sachs has worked really well. And the other one we had, Apple, has worked relatively well. So there's some of the stocks that we looked at were pretty good. Some of them didn't. But here's one that's been doing really well for us today, and that has been the euro. If you remember, we talked about this euro yesterday. There's where we were on yesterday. Well, look, let's move this over just a tiny bit so we can get this out of the way right here and put the hourly chart up so we can see where we were. We were at that high level right up here. Then we had the first 382 retracement here, which was right in here. This is, we sold it there. And then we had the retracement this morning, went right up to the 50% level. Just absolute perfect. I'll draw it in so you can see it. Well, you can see it was a quick heartbeat away from the 382. There was a 382. It popped up here, and then it's come down, had another 382 right here, and now we're coming down even more. This is a big move in the euro, folks, considering the amount of money that you risk versus how much you have to put up, okay? That's what we're watching here. As we watch these things. Okay, now we got another one here that may not work, but I've got to talk to you about it because I've already done it, and that is in the El Catel. This is cattle. Now you can see there was our fib number right up here. That was your ABCD. All right, look how I said this in the video, folks. We closed here last night. In the video, I said, now watch if this gaps up, because it'll gap up above the 382, and where does it take you? Right up to this level right here. So that's what we're watching here in the cattle so far today. I still look at this and I say, oh, whatever happened to good luck. Sometimes it's good luck and sometimes it's bad luck. You just never know. Remember Goldman Sachs? We did that one up there at this level at 616. It's now 598. You made $20 with a $5 risk. Can't ask for anything better than that, folks. All right, we're going to talk about the dollar index when we get back, and then we got the Winsky the Wizard will be on at the half hour. Astro Trends from Naples, Florida.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, traversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs, trade wars, analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Okay, we're back, folks. We're looking at the U.S. dollar here, as you can see. This is what we're looking at. I had a comment from during the break here, that was a short break, is I look at so many things. I talk about so many things. You know, what do you do? Folks, everything I do is ABCD. I mean, I don't know any more than that. And I'm not trying to be naive. I don't understand astrology very much at all. I've been scared of it ever since Dr. Miller told me about it 50 years ago, 48 years ago. I know, and look, you got guys like Bill Meridian, you got guys like Shane Smolian and Norm Winsky. I just keep things as simple as I possibly can. I look at ABCD. That's led me to where I am. I've been able to, I've been able to eat a couple meals a day for a long time, but it doesn't work all the time. That's the problem. Someone asked a question about these valid trend lines. I found those in the book with the Hearst book back when I was doing cycles. I'm going to explain those. Here's how I made all my money. Let me just show you. Well, we got a minute here to do that before Num comes on. This is how I made my. Let's do it with the real thing. Let's do it with the corn market. Okay, we're going to come up here. Let's do wheat, because we've had a nice trade in it this week, and I'll just show you the same concept. This is wheat, and I'm going to bring it up here on the daily chart. This is the July wheat. Of course, we were in the December, and it went a little bit higher. Now we went up here. We had this high that we made right here. Got a trading day tomorrow. We're going to be trading wheat tomorrow for sure. But that high was right at the 382 of this high right back in here. Now here's how I made my money in the market. Okay. Now this is, we're going to do all this by fun. Okay. Now the Hearst cycle guy, Jim Hearst, who happened to be my customer later on in life, back in the late 79 and 80, he was my customer, but he looked at cycles. So he would look at, and this is where this cycle finder comes in, right, like that. So, okay, that was a cycle low right here. Okay, now what I would do is I would draw this thing called the valid trend line. Now, he didn't know what a valid trend line was until, he still didn't. He passed away not knowing that. Now, but as soon as it went above that trend line, it was a good deal. And what I did was I followed these for a long time. I would just watch that cycle, and then I would move it out, and I do it this way. And there was another cycle right here. I'd look for the cycle low. Oh, there it is again. Then all I would do is to buy it right here. Okay? God, that was easy, wasn't it? From 1968 to 1974, for 6 years, boys and girls, this thing worked like a charm. And then all of a sudden, you'd get this little move like this. He would rally up 2 days, and then boom, down 10 days. And I wasn't smart enough to get out of the way, and that's when I lost all my money. But that's when I got the Dark Gartley book and figured out, maybe I should do something different. But that's all that was following these cycle lows like this and then buying those trend line breakouts. You can do it on anything you want. They've even got programs in here, and I'll show you one that looks interesting. This is a valid trend line. You can also use a volatility stop. You see that the volatility stop is when you break above this level. See how wonderful it works? Folks, try programming it and see how it works. You see, all this is based on volatility. Once you break below that, you want to go short. Okay, you break above it, you want to go long. See here, you go long, you don't get long here, right? But it works pretty good. The problem is it doesn't work all the time. You have to use it in conjunction with something else. Now, this particular volatility stop that I'm using is this right here. Hold on a second. We'll get it up here. Nope, I don't know what happened to it. It's got to be in this group right here. Oh, here it is. It's a volatility stop using an 8 bars. This was the cycle bars, and then you're using a volatility stop of 8. In other words, taking 8 periods, and that's what figures out what the volatility is over those 8 periods, and that tells you want to be a buyer. So once you pop above that line, you got to be long. You use it in conjunction with something else, and it looks great. Look at this. I mean, some of these has kept you short the whole way down. Look. Kept you long there, but you got to use it in conjunction with other things. I didn't use other things. We didn't have these computer stuff, folks. All we got every Saturday morning was commodity perspective charts for the week. We didn't have intraday stuff. That didn't evolve till 1983, for heaven's sakes. That's the difference in, what you're looking at when you're watching some of these things. Now let's get back to the gold market. We've got a couple of minutes. I've already told you about the bonds. I think we're getting ready for a pretty big rally in those bonds. There's the gold. It's got to be here somewhere. I've been talking about it on 3 different shows. Bear with me, folks. Let's just do the old Cascade, and that'll find the old GC up in here somewhere. And there, GC, where are you? Are you kidding me? I don't have gold in. I took it out maybe on the last time that we did this. Shut the front door. Let's bring it up, folks, because gold hit a magical number here over the evening, along with this other stuff. And Norm says, we got this big cycle low that we're looking at. Maybe it'll affect everything. So let's get the gold up here to show you where we were. And we want to look at that on the 4-hour chart because that's what we were marking it on. And you'll see there's where we were last night, folks. This thing went up here and right on the time. There's your 1, 3, 5. There's a number right here. There's your 61% retracement right here at 325. The high was $11 higher than that, and it's backed off $60 since that time. You can see how much it's dropped, and all we're doing now, and if you want to do the valid trend line concept, this is what it looks like. There's your valid trend line here, a valid trend line here, so you draw that line up just like this, okay? And you put it right there. There, you see how it touches? This is basically a 30. There, from there to there is your 50% retracement off of that. So it's still holding. Anything below here, anything below 277 breaks that trend line, and it means you're going to go lower with a pretty good high probability. Now, go back and test it yourself, folks. Nothing works for sure. But there's another one. Look, you can just draw them here. You got to draw them in like you're supposed to. See? There's a valid trend line here, and then you've got another one coming down like this. This was done in several different books. Now, this is the one that I like the best because you can see you have a valid trend line right here. It's a 382 off of this figure right here. That's a 382. And now you come down and you touch this. This acts like a fulcrum, folks. Boing, and then that's what's called the 20-minute line, and that's what gives it a really nice ring to it. But a lot of different things. I basically, use stuff I do. I don't do this stuff for you guys. I just use ABCD, 382, 618, bada bing, bada boom. I don't know any more than that, for God's sake. I'm not going to try to fool anybody for anything. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. But folks, I look at this, and I got a call today from the young one, Laren, and she said, Dad, he's still doing the same thing? And I said, yeah. She said, how long has it been now? And I said, 62 years. I said, you still having fun? And I said, yeah, Laren, I still am. She said, Man, she said, I don't know, none of the other fathers ever had much fun as you did. And I said, yeah, I guess you're right. Anyway, that's what life's been good to me, just because of ABCD and Gartley and some of the nice people that I've met along the way. By the way, Jim Hurst got through the actor Clint Walker, Cheyenne Bodie. He lived 4 doors down from us there in Westlake Village, and they were fishing buddies. And they both retired up in Nevada City, California, on the California side of the Sierra Nevadas, and they fished there until they were in their 90s, and that's when they passed away. Hey, let's take a break, and we got the wizard coming up, folks. Live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and he'll be with us in just a minute.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors. This portion of Trade What You See is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Okay, folks, this is the Tesla chart that we did the other day, the ABCD. Now, we sold that at 51. The stop was at 55. We had a high of 53, and now we've come to, 54.10, and now we dropped 20 points, folks, $20. So you're risking 5, and if you made 20, that's not a bad deal. So now, of course, if you didn't get out, you only got an $8 profit right now, because intraday, it's come back really strong right after the open. You can see there was it opened right here. And then we've had a pretty good rally. And there's what you're looking at right here. See, so there was the ABCD. If you looked at ABCD, we'll just take a quick look at it here. Doesn't work all the time, but as we know, sometimes it works. And it measures down to right about here, which is 34. The low is 31, okay? So anyway, that's what we're watching here with Tesla. We're going to have Norm on in just a minute. He's having a hard time getting connected. Something about not paying his electricity bill or something. That was a joke, folks. I'm sorry. I shouldn't make jokes about stuff like that, so I won't any longer. The key thing to remember, folks, is the fact that we've hit those second standard deviations now in the yield on the 30-year bond. The 30-year bond and the notes, they look entirely different. So that's a big time. We've never seen this much of a divergence between these folks, but that's the reason is people are getting tired of buying treasury bonds, getting a 5% yield. They're getting a 5% yield, but next week they lose 6% of their value. Not a big deal, especially if you got a lot of money, it don't make any difference, I guess. Of course it makes difference. If you buy I think we've got the wizard in the house. Let's just double check here one more time. And we have the wizard in the house. So, Norm, I'm going to turn everything over to you, my friend. So fire away.
Hello, Larry. Can you hear me okay?
No, sir, I can't hear you at all.
Okay. Should I go ahead then?
Go ahead. Be a good idea, Norm. Go ahead, please.
Hey, okay. Well, thanks for having me on your show. And you're amazing. You're, like I said, been doing this 62 years. Congratulations. All right.
I started when I was 1.
What's that again?
I started when I was 1. Go ahead, Norm.
Yeah, you're 39 now, right? There you go.
Something like that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So anyway, I was last on your show on the 12th of May. And we had a big cluster of stuff coming up over the ensuing days there. And so I'm going to quickly review these, and then we'll look at the charts, and then we'll gaze into the crystal ball and tell you what's coming up here in the next few days. And we got lots of big stuff coming. So the afternoon of the 12th, we had a full moon in the sign of Scorpio. Anytime we have a full moon or new moon, we round up the usual suspects, which are financials, grains, precious metal, and oil, and then because it was in Scorpio, we're adding and emphasizing cocoa, hogs, and T-bonds. And then the night of the AC, the PM, you might guess, is afternoon, and then AC is after the close, so that's overnight. Like 2/3 to 3/4 of all the planetary events occur overnight, because the trading day session trading day is only about 1/4 of the day. And the planets are 24/7. They're out there working 24 hours a day. So anyway, so overnight, the 12th, overnight into the 13th, we had Jupiter in the sign of Gemini line up with Uranus, which is in Taurus, for cattle, copper, and cotton. And then the morning of the 13th, we had the moon. And by the way, if you need any help with any of these technical terms, please contact me. We'll set up a chat, and I'll give you a free lesson and explain some of these terms. And once you learn the terminology, you will learn that nothing here is over a 5th grade level. If it were, I may have trouble doing it. So there we go. So the moon's north node, that's a moon thing, was 120 degrees. That's very, in astrological theory, very favorable to the U.S. That's a natal chart where the planets were when the country was founded on the 4th of July of 1776. It was lined up with U.S. Mercury. By the way, right, I think that on the 13th is when they announced that we had a tentative deal trading with China, and Mercury has to do with trade and communication. So we had some very favorable announcements and a trade agreement there. That's what that would indicate. The moon's north node is considered like another Jupiter, very beneficial usually. Okay, so anyway, anytime we have something to the U.S. chart, that's stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. Then we had the moon's north node in the sign of Pisces, and that lined up with Saturn in Pisces for coffee, oil, silver. And then we had Jupiter in Gemini, 90 degrees to the moon's north node in Pisces for oil and silver. And then we had Helio, that's from the point of view of the sun. If I don't say which system it is, assume it's geocentric from the point of view of the Earth. But if I say Helio, then that's from the point of view of the sun. We had Jupiter changing signs, leaving Gemini, going into Cancer. It takes 11 and a half years for Jupiter to go around the sun. There's 12 signs in the zodiac, so 1/12 of that is just under a year, about 11 and a half months. And so the Jupiter changes signs about once a year, roughly. And we'll be looking for cocoa, coffee, hogs, silver, sugar, tea, bonds, and wheat. And then the night of the 16th, that was over the weekend. We have Uranus at apogee. Apogee means Uranus relative to the Earth. The G part is Earth. The A part is afar. Uranus was the farthest from the Earth in, I think, a yearly cycle there, and that's cattle, copper, and cotton. So let's look at the charts now. Here we got corn on the right there near the, that's right. There's the moon right there, and we're right near that high there. And you had a nice dip for a nice short term. Actually, that led into the low of that whole 2-3 week period there. Here's beans. If you sold there on the moon that afternoon of the 12th, you had a big dip there the next day. So that was a pretty good winner there. Here's wheat. We had 2 points for wheat. And there's the moon there. And then we went up to the Jupiter going into Cancer point there for wheat. And then you had a nice little short-term drop there. Here's cattle. We had cattle lined up for, that was the, with Uranus and Taurus. Taurus is Uranus, the Taurus is the bull, and cattle is the bull. So there you go. So if you had a big uptrend there, that's what we look to do. Sell on strength, buy in weakness at our near our timing window. And if you sold there and you took a little heat there, but then you had, that was pretty much the big high. That was the all-time high for cattle so far up to about on June, about the 218 level there. That was a huge reversal the next day. You see that? I think it dropped like 5 handles just the next day. And there we go. Here's a miss. The cotton just kept going down, 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 you see. There into, It's time for commercial.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Okay, we're back, folks, with Norm Winsky of Astro Trends. Please continue, Norm.
We were just leaving the cattle arena there, and so that was a Taurus. That's a Taurus market, as you like. Taurus the bull, I guess. Cotton is also a Taurus market, and so we have the same timing points. And for the cotton, the moon didn't work. It just kept going. That's why we have a red arrow. Red is bad, and green is good. And just like a traffic light, like go or stop, you know. So then we went down here, and we had our other point there, which was, let me look that up. Oh, yeah, Uranus. Uranus point there with Uranus in the sign of Taurus, and that was right near the low of this whole period. And then you had a nice pop up there for about 65 up to 60, about 3 handles. That's about $1,500. 5 handles back here on the cattle, by the way. That's times 400. That's $2,000. So here's cocoa is going sideways. That's a Pluto Scorpio market, and the moon was in Scorpio, but the cocoa didn't care. And so yellow means we're doing nothing. That's a pass because we don't do sideways. Then we went up here into our next point, and that was in this. On the hogs, we had the same timing. It's the same. They're astro cousins, hogs and cocoa, believe it or not. And so they have the same timing points, and that worked pretty well for the hogs. You see, you have a nice pullback low there on the moon, and then it went a little bit lower the next day, and then a big rally, and then we had our next point there. And, oh, that was Jupiter going to Cancer, because that's where in 120 degrees from Scorpio, and that's why I had that, and that's a high there. And then you had a nice drop. Here's, oh, sorry about that. Like, computer's doing funny stuff. Okay, now we got a computer going here. We had a pop-up there for cocoa. Now it's, oh, I'm sorry. This thing is giving me trouble now. All right, we go in, we popped up here for our high there. Jupiter going into Cancer. That's 180 degrees from Capricorn, which is coffee. And you see, he had a nice drop there. It doesn't look like much on the chart, but every penny in coffee is $375. And that dropped, I think, about 10 handles. So that's $3,750. There we go. Here's sugar. That sugar didn't work. We had a miss there. Oh, sorry about that. And then we got the crude oil. The moon didn't work for the crude oil, but it did work for our other 2 points there. And so that was, and then you had a big drop like a day or two, about 2 days later right there. So that was right there. That was a nice deal there to sell there. Here's copper. Both our copper points were winners. Refer back to the first page there for which factors there are there. Let's see, that was copper. I got a grid here I can look at. Copper. Oh, there we go. That was Uranus thing there. And then over here we had, I think, also Uranus. And so those 2 points were pretty good. Every penny in copper is worth $250. And so I think you're probably looking there at about a 10-cent move for about $2,500. Silver was excellent this time. There you have a nice top there, bottom there, top there. And so you would have done really well there. Gold, we had a small low there and a little pop up there, I think $50 pop there. So that was okay for a short-term high. The S&P is a little rough sledding here for a couple days in the S&P. There's all the points, apply to the stock market, all these timing points. And we had 7 of them, and the first 3 did not work because it just kept going higher. But then we caught that high there, and then the bottom low there, and then so forth there. So we hit 4 out of 7 on the S&P. Usually do better than that. T-bonds, kind of a train wreck here. We in the same window right around the moon. Nothing was working, and then we got up here that we had got that. Now we're going to look at the best group of all, the currencies. Larry was talking, I think, earlier about the euro, and that'll be in this group now. So there's the dollar, had 2 points there, and that was right near the big high there, and then it went down, 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 and then all the currencies are a mirror image of that. So there's the moon there for the Aussie dollar. There's the moon for the British pound. Here's the moon for the Canadian dollar. I think that one's the only one where it went slightly, a couple of ticks lower the next day before it had a pop up. Here's the euro is really good there. Nice low there on the euro. And there's the Japanese yen. That was excellent. Buy there and just went up, up, up. Here's the Swiss franc. Even the Swiss franc was good. It made low there, and then we went up, up, up. So if you add up the green arrows and the red arrows, green is good, red bad. So we got 30 winners, 11 misses out of 41 for 73.17%. Now, before we talk about what's coming up in the future, I'm going to give you the key to the markets. That's right. The major key to the markets is time. You might wonder why, when you're trading based on your price charts and you got a Fibonacci retracement, and I bet even Larry will agree with this, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the market just keeps going. We had that on the S&P here in the past month where it blew through the 618 retracement, the big decline, and then it blew through the 786 retracement, and so forth. What's missing there? What's missing is time. If you have the right time, you'll have the right price. That is irrefutable. If you think you can argue against that, please contact me. I'd love to have that discussion with you. But I think that's it. If you have the wrong time, just by definition, you're probably going to have a losing trade. So that's what I'm here for, to help you with your market timing. And I think we can greatly improve your batting average and your winning trades if you'll let me help you. So let's look ahead now into the future here now. Today is May 22, and tonight we have a big point here with Uranus to the U.S. Pluto to the U.S. natal chart, stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. What do we need for a good trade? We need both time and price, and we need the market to be moving up or moving down. If it's going sideways, that's a nothing. Okay, so then you take a pass. Now we have a helio from the point of view of the sun, Neptune changing signs. Neptune that goes around the sun takes 165 years for Neptune to make one complete cycle around the sun. And we have 12 signs, so it's roughly about 12 to 14 year average for Neptune to change signs. So this is a big deal. This hasn't happened. It changed signs for like about 12 to 14 years. And if you back to this point again, you probably remember, Larry, back last time this happened 165 years ago, right? So there we go. And there we go. We got the coffee. So we're going to be looking at coffee, corn, gold, oil, silver, sugar, wheat. And then we have this weekend, the night of the 23rd. That's into the weekend. Saturn also entering Aries. That's pretty interesting. We've got 2 outer planets, big cycles, all going, changing signs, going into Aries. And there we go, coffee, corn, gold, silver, sugar, wheat.
Okay, Norm, stay tuned and we'll let you give another couple of minutes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Okay, we're back with Norm Winski. Norm, why don't you tell the folks how they can reach you?
Well, I'm sure you want me to finish this in 1 minute or less, right?
Oh, sure, go ahead if you have it. Yeah, go right ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, we got 3 more points. But by the way, notice that we have 6 big cycles all occurring within a few days. The last 3 that we didn't get to cover yet are that Helio Jupiter, that's from the point of view of the sun, will be lining up with Uranus in Taurus for cattle, copper, cotton, and silver. And then we also have a Mercury cycle over the weekend, and we have a new moon in the sign of Gemini, and that's also perigee. That's new moon perigee. That's a super new moon there, and so that's pretty powerful. And here we go. Here's who I am. I've been doing this 50 years. May 19th was my 50th anniversary from when I walked on the floor of the Chicago Board Options Exchange as a member and market maker. That was my first full day there at the CBOE. I made enough money doing this in college, using the astrology, to buy the membership for $25,000 there in 1975. Anyway, and if you want to get by the way, I'm running a special here now, just for Larry's people. If you contact me, send me an email, and tell me Larry sent you. The first 5 people who have not ever received the letter, never seen the letter, you can get my main letter for free, and it's over 40 pages. So that's a pretty good deal. The first 5 people mention Larry, and we'll put Larry. Should I throw in the double your money back guarantee?
I think that'd be okay, Norm. Yes.
Yeah, it's free with a money back guarantee because Larry said so. Okay, Larry told me I had to do that. All right, so here we go. Here's how you contact me. You can call me here in beautiful Naples, Florida at 239-594-3939, 239-594-3939. There's my email, or also my team's address. It's nwinsky, NWINSKI, at yahoo.com. Please call me right away because, we got a 3-day weekend coming up here. And you'll probably forget and so forth. So call me here the next day or so, and I'll get you the letter for free, and you can study it over the weekend. I'll be happy to help you with it. I'll probably give you a free class or whatever you'd like. Thanks a lot. Looking forward to helping the folks.
Steve Rhodes started